Good morning and welcome to your daily reset. What if the life you've been praying for is waiting on one courageous decision from you? Welcome to Reset for Real with Michelle J. Short, liberating truths to help steady your day. I'm Michelle J., an educator and mentor who believes truth isn't a trend, it's what steadies you. And today's episode is very special because today we close season 1 of Reset for Real. Over the past several weeks, we've talked about truth, identity, emotions, discipline, and even character. But every truth we've explored leads to one question. And that question is, what are you going to do with what you know now? Welcome to today's episode entitled, The Story Changes Here. Dare to be the first. Today's reset word is legacy. Legacy is not just what you leave when you die, but legacy is what your life sets in motion while you live. It is the patterns you repeat or the patterns you decide to break. I think of the book of Deuteronomy in chapter 30, verse 19, when God says, I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursing. Therefore, choose life. Notice the word choose. Not blame, not delay, not excuse, but choose. That means no matter what shaped your beginning, you still have authority over what happens next. See, this is where many people miss their moment. They assume they are limited by what they inherited or their environment or how they were raised, even what they saw or perhaps what was repeated around them. But history tells a different story. Every generation eventually reaches a moment when someone decides to step out and say, enough is enough. This change is here. Yes, no, the buck stopped here. And I think about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman, she was actually born into slavery, and we all know that. She lived inside a system, in fact, the world system, that told her freedom was impossible. But she made a decision, and she went up north. That alone would have been powerful, but she did not stop there. She made it, but she came back. Not one time, but again and again. Not because it was easy, but because she understood something most people never fully grasp. And that is, freedom is not just personal, it's generational. Records say she directly led around 70 people to freedom. But the real number is far greater than that, because every life she helped free produced generations she would never meet. Let that sit there. Legacy reaches people you will never see. I need you to just imagine a path through a dense forest. And for years, everyone walked that exact same trail, that path, because it was familiar. Not because it was the best path, but because it was known. And because this is what everyone did. This is the path that they followed. But then one day, someone steps off that path. And that unknown path, it feels uncertain, uncomfortable, and even unfamiliar. But you keep walking it. And eventually, what looked impossible becomes a new way forward. That is what legacy does. It creates a path that did not exist before. So here's your reset for today. I need you to ask yourself 3 honest questions and think about it. What pattern ends with me? What standard begins with me? And what will be different because I was here? Because every generation waits for someone who will decide to walk a new path. The story changes here. Maybe that someone is you. Season 1, we talked about reset. Season 2, we will be about what happens next. Because when truth meets your thinking, the impossible becomes mission possible. You are not just living a life. You are writing a legacy. Reset isn't hype. Reset is a decision to live by what is true. And if this conversation gave you a new perspective, something you can carry into your day, I need you to stay with me and join the Reset community at gpspartnership.com/community-hub-page. And I need you to remember, today is a new day with no mistakes in it. It's what you make it. So make it a good day. This is Reset for Real with Michelle J. Let's reset for real and have yourself a powerful, intentional, and legacy shifting day.